Hello there, good evening. Welcome to Look North, our top story tonight. Is it safe to swim on your summer holiday this year? The raw sewage is dumped off Yorkshire's coast, close to our famous resorts. We have details of the popular beaches affected. Also tonight. Still waiting for full compensation, our sub-postmasters caught up in the country's most widespread miscarriage of justice.
It's been 13 years of hell, to be honest with you. It never goes away.
I wish you all the best, it was almost fun while it lasted.
Rotherham's Rebecca Lucy Taylor, better known as pop star Self-Esteem, is honoured by Sheffield University.
Hello, my name's Elsie. Welcome to my home.
And meet fabulous Elsie, who's lived in the same house for 105 years.
Well, it's nice to see the River Yure in Aysgarth back in full flow. Obviously, it was really dry in June. The river level was quite low. More rain to come in the next few days. Join me for that detailed forecast.
Hello, it's good to have your company this evening. The summer holidays are about to start, aren't they? And families across our region will be planning trips to the seaside. Well, tonight we can reveal that in the past 2 days, raw sewage was dumped into the sea at 3 popular holiday locations on the Yorkshire coast. In May, we reported that people were being advised against bathing at Scarborough South Bay and Bridlington South Beach due to ongoing issues with water quality. But this weekend, storm overflows linked to sewers went into the sea in Whitby, Scarborough North Bay and Filey. There was also an alert in place at Robin Hood's Bay. The discharges are entirely legal and followed heavy rain. Yorkshire Water says it's investing millions to improve the situation, but campaigners say it's not enough. Carla Fowler is in Filey for us this evening. Carla, many people were watching and worried about this ahead of the holidays.
Yes, we're here in Filey, and just look at that magnificent view behind us. You can see why people come here for the holidays. It's glorious now, but it has been raining off and on during the day, and that is a big part of the problem, because over the weekend there were a number of storm overflows, as you said, Amy, here on the east coast after the heavy rainfall. Now those are into combined sewage overflows, which do end up in the sea. Now, if you use the campaign group Surfers Against Sewage, if you use their app, it's called the Safer Seas and Rivers Service, you'll already know about those sewage overspills, because they're linked to the sensors which are on the overflows in real time, and they send an alert every time one of those overflows happen, so you can know exactly when and where the sewage spills are happening. At the weekend, as we've said, there was one here in Filey, another in Scarborough and further up the coast in Whitby. When the sewer system is overwhelmed, the overflows can send that excess into the sea, and as you said, it's perfectly legal. It's done so that the sewer system doesn't back up and flood into our homes and gardens, but what it does mean is we are seeing more and more sewage at the seaside. Well, today I spoke to a surfer and a lifelong campaigner on this issue, Matthew Jones, and to Scarborough MP, Robert Goodwill.
We are all paying somebody to do a job that isn't being done, and they're pumping raw live sewage out there. You know, people get ill from it, you know, and seriously ill, but it's like it's not a thing, yet we all pay for it.
Other than letting it back up and bubble up into people's toilets and up the streets, it has to be discharged into the sea. So we had a failure on intestinal enterococci just the other day, but when the weather dries up, then that will stop happening. And you know, so as I say, there's been massive investment put in, but sometimes when we get heavy rainfall, we get this problem occurring.
Well, most people we spoke to today here in Filey were totally unaware of any sewage issues, and many were shocked.
The water companies need to get their act together, and overflows of raw sewage is fundamentally wrong.
Really disappointing, and it's such a gorgeous, gorgeous beach. It should be packed.
Beautiful place like this, I mean, it's disgusting, isn't it? Absolutely disgusting.
If there's a risk today, we haven't seen anything, and we've walked right the way along.
Yeah.
So obviously they're not letting you know enough, are they?
Well, we asked Yorkshire Water what can be done, and a spokesperson told Look North Tackling overflows is a priority for us, but it is a significant task. We know replumbing the whole of Yorkshire is not a quick fix, but we've already begun a £180 million programme to improve storm overflows within the next 2 years. Just before we go, we're running out of time here, but do remember, Filey is a great little town. It's a wonderful place to visit. So don't think twice before coming here. Maybe just check the swimming conditions before diving in.
Certainly will, Carl. I'll be visiting there over the summer holidays. Thank you. Looks glorious tonight. Next this evening, wrongly accused post office workers from our region are still waiting to receive the full compensation they're due. They were victims of what's been called the most widespread miscarriage of justice in UK history. Between 2000 and 2014, hundreds of post office branch managers were wrongly accused of false accounting, theft and fraud due to faulty computer software. 736 postmasters were prosecuted. Some were given criminal convictions and jailed. Many more were financially ruined and faced anger from their communities. In 2019, victims took legal action against the Post Office. Convictions were quashed and a public inquiry was launched. Well, today the inquiry head has called for action and a change in the law to help those involved get full and fair compensation. Mark Ansell has been speaking to two people caught up in the scandal.
I keep thinking I'm going to forget about it, you know. Hopefully I wake up one morning thinking it's all hunky-dory. But while the compensation is going through, while the inquiry is going through, it's never going to come off your head.
Former postmaster Harjinder Batoy spent 1.5 years in prison for a crime he did not commit. He was wrongly convicted of stealing £208,000 because of the faulty computer system Horizon.
Destroyed everything. Absolutely everything. And I went bankrupt as well, lost all the properties, lost all business, lost everything.
What message do you have for the Post Office?
Just stop playing around. I don't know why you're all doing it for. Start paying up as fast as you can and give the evidence what people they're asking for. Send it through quick. Stop wasting time. You've been doing it for the last 17 years, you're still doing it.
For the Batoy family, justice will only come when those responsible in the Post Office are locked up.
What I went through, what my kids went through, it's very, very painful. I would like to see those people go to prison for what they've done to us. Not just us, but all the other Post Office people.
So Wynne Williams putting pressure on the government and the Post Office.
Today, the head of an inquiry into the Post Office scandal called for action to stop the blocking of full and fair compensation to victims.
I have reached the conclusion that it is now appropriate for me to make recommendations to the Minister which have the specific aim of ensuring that the applicants to each scheme are treated fairly.
Former postmistress Alison Hall from Liversedge was innocent but agreed to plead guilty to false accounting, so a theft charge would be dropped and was sentenced to community service. Like Harjinder, Alison is still waiting for full compensation.
It's been just hell, really. You know, there's not a day goes by where you don't think about it. And obviously we live right next to the Post Office, so that's even harder, having to look at the Post Office sign every day. We just want to see the compensation paid, the people responsible for letting it happen, how it's happened, be brought to justice, and to try and get on with our lives.
It took 14 years for Harjinder to have his conviction quashed. He's still waiting for full compensation and those responsible to be brought to justice. Mark Ansell, BBC Look North, Chesterfield.
We have had a response through from the Post Office. They say they agree that victims of the Horizon scandal must be provided with full compensation fairly and consistently. This remains our priority. Across Post Offices, compensation arrangements offers totalling more than £120 million have been made to around 2,500 postmasters, with the majority of these agreed and paid. Next night, we're looking at the latest efforts to tackle knife crime in West Yorkshire. Today, a plan to reduce violence has been launched, meaning police, probation and health professionals have a legal duty to work together. A man who almost died in a stabbing in Huddersfield has told Look North we need to do more for young people. Here's our social affairs correspondent, Emma Glasby.
How do you make the violence stop? Police say knife crime in West Yorkshire is down in the past year, but 2023 has seen more lives destroyed and families devastated. In Armley, 2 teenagers were murdered. In Hare Hills and Chapeltown, knife attacks have led to police at times using extra stop and search powers.
I was involved in knife crime, I was involved in selling drugs.
Marcus was stabbed 20 times in an attack in Huddersfield. Now he wants to help change things.
Having lived that life and then being on the receiving end of being stabbed multiple times to near enough death has been more of my push to again give back to the community, and I see this now as my purpose in life.
What is it that we need to do to tackle knife crime?
So just bring about more awareness and support, and as well as that, it's giving young people the opportunities to go on and do better things, because a lot of young people, they do it as in it's the spur of the moment, it gets them through at the moment in time, whereas if they had opportunities to fulfill things and find careers or find skills to better their careers, and it would deter them from even getting involved or having the thought of being involved in that sort of glamorous lifestyle as it's perceived to be.
Today he spoke in Bradford to the people whose job it is to tackle the problem. They're relaunching the Violence Reduction Unit into a partnership, putting a legal duty on police, probation, councils and health to work together on preventing violent crime.
I'm doing everything within my powers, but I can't do it on my own. The police can't arrest their way out of this crisis. This is a community effort, and that's why today is so important, because that partnership work is how we reduce knife crime and keep those young people safe and hopefully reassure those parents.
This weekend brought another reminder of why tackling violent crime has to be a priority. This was Sunday afternoon in Bradford city centre after a teenager was stabbed.
Well, we are only around the corner from today's event, but yesterday this street, Hustlergate in Bradford, was a crime scene. Police say that a 16-year-old boy was treated in hospital after being stabbed in the leg. 4 boys aged 13, 15, 16 and 17 have been arrested.
There are parts of West Yorkshire where violence feels closer to home, where they feel the impact more than others. It's those communities who need to see that everything possible is being done to keep their families safe. Emma Glasby, BBC Look North.
A couple from Menston in West Yorkshire who had multiple miscarriages are trying to highlight what they say is a lack of understanding around the issue in the Asian community. Gurjan Sati Sagu spoke to Look North reporter Sabia Pervez ahead of a charity challenge.
I remember the first and the second scan actually, and the sonographer was scanning and then you hear silence. And I remember those words actually, there's no heartbeat. I think that's the biggest thing that is really hard to get your head around when you know that you're pregnant and then you go to a scan to say there's nothing there anymore. And then it's dealing with the aftermath of, right, we now need to get through this pregnancy. Your friends and your family are always there, absolutely, but if you talk to somebody who hasn't been through something or a similar journey, they don't understand.
What made you feel like it was a stigma?
It's the lack of understanding in the South Asian community about miscarriage, you know, baby loss, and what does that mean?
I think it was the constant questions at weddings that was really upsetting. Why is it that you've not had children? You've been married for such a long time.
The number of times I heard, it wasn't even a baby. Okay, if that's what you think, then that is your thought process, but to me, that baby had a heartbeat.
Hello everyone, I'm about to climb Ben Nevis 7 times, and this is to raise awareness of miscarriages and baby loss in this South Asian community.
Now Sati is scaling just over 29,000 feet, which is the equivalent of the height of Everest, to raise money and awareness around baby loss in his community.
one of the things we know is that very sadly, in terms of numbers, more black, mixed black and brown women are affected by miscarriage and baby loss. So when people are able to and feel able to share their experiences, it's absolutely worth its weight in gold.
I think the more people talk about it, the more people will understand.
Especially in our Asian community where it's not talked about as much, and there's a fear about talking and having that conversation because of what people might think or what people might say. People have got to kind of get over that really, and it is okay to have that conversation because this is reality and it does happen.
That was Gurjan Sati speaking with Sabir earlier. We're going to catch up with a remarkable man now. Ian Flatt was diagnosed with motor neuron disease in 2019. He's already scaled Snowdon and yesterday completed his latest challenge to travel 100 miles across the moors. This is despite needing a ventilator for 16 hours a day. Ian is raising money to help build the new Rob Burrows Centre for Motor Neuron Disease in Leeds, and he's with me now. Ian, you're looking very well. You look like you've been on holiday.
Thank you. Well, I have.
How was it?
Oh, it was wonderful, Amy. It was absolutely beautiful. It's such a great time with so many great people. Yeah, it's something. As we finished yesterday, I was like, well, should we do it again?
Oh my goodness, you are so positive, Ian, because I know that it was 10 days and it was a real physical and mental challenge, wasn't it? You tackled Pennygent, Swelldale, Wensleydale, every dale going.
Yeah.
We can see some pictures of you in action with the team around you. So you've got some friends, some of who we recognise from the MND Seacroft Centre.
Yeah.
So they were with you the whole way, weren't they? What was the most challenging part of it all for you?
I think that some of the terrain that we chose was difficult. I had to balance that between wanting to do it but making sure my friends were safe, because of course they take the weight of the machine and everything else. So it was just a little bit of caution, which I'm not used to necessarily.
No, I know you're not, Ian. And you had a lot of changeable weather, didn't you? Friday was torrential for you.
Oh, Friday was biblical, yes. It was sideways rain, hailstone. But it made that walk so much more interesting for me. We were halfway around in the sunshine and it was like, well, it's just a hill. And then the rains came. I thought, now we've got to climb. Yeah.
Well, actually, we're just seeing here some photos of you doing Snowdon.
Yeah.
So that was your first of 3 challenges this year. So you did Snowdon, then of course there was the marathon, and now this. Have you got another challenge in mind, Ian?
I do. Yeah.
Of course you do.
I'm working on it at the moment, but it seems to be that what we fancy is something across all 4 nations. So something on a slightly bigger scale than we've done before.
Oh my goodness, Ian, you're very brave.
Well, it's picking the right mountains is important. Picking the right friends is incredibly important. And if I get those bits right, the rest will take care of itself.
Of course, Ian, you're doing this to build the new MND Centre.
Yeah.
How is the condition for you at the moment? Because it affects people in different ways, doesn't it?
It does, of course, yeah. The progression for all of us is we don't know. And for me, sometimes I have a plateau. I have a little lull, which I seem to have enjoyed over this last little period. But I'm good. I'm really, really healthy. I'm fit. I feel strong. You know, and the things that you can't do anything about, you learn to manage. You know, and there's lots of other things I can do. So,
Ian, it's always so lovely to have you in the studio, and congratulations.
Thank you.
I look forward to hearing more details about the next one.
Thank you. Take care.
Let's give you a bit of sports news now. Hannah Cockcroft has secured a 14th world title at the Para-Athletic World Championships in Paris. The 30-year-old from Brighouse retained her title in the T34 800-metre race yesterday. It was Great Britain's 8th gold medal of the championships, which end today.
To come here, it's a bigger stage. We've got more girls to race against. It's not a given. It's not a given for myself or Carrie. We never know what those girls are going to pull out. And yeah, we need to watch our backs now. Fabian's on her way.
Leeds boxer Kez Ashfaq has thanked his team and supporters after losing his British title fight in Newcastle on Saturday. It was a tough fight against Liam Dillon, who won after a split decision on points. Next tonight, singer Rebecca Lucy Taylor, aka Self-Esteem from South Yorkshire, received an honorary degree at Sheffield University today for her contribution to music. The Rotherham woman, who famously wore a bra in the shape of Meadowhall domes to perform at Glastonbury, won BBC Introducing Artist of the Year in 2021, as well as being shortlisted for a Mercury Music Award. I went to meet her after the ceremony in Sheffield.
Makes me feel reckless.
It's so, yeah, like, I'm not doing well with words because I'm so, I'm really emotional about it. Like, I was always really worried about that I didn't go to uni and stuff like that, and it feels just so legitimate, and I'm really proud of myself, actually. Yeah.
So you should be.
Yeah.
What did you say to the students today?
Well, I kept thinking, oh God, what do you say?
You are now at the bottom of a new mountain. And the top of the mountain is the end of your life. And you and me are just going to constantly be going up it.
It's never really over. You will constantly be growing and getting better and better at backing yourself. And yeah, I think that's what I said. I messed a bit up, but I think it'll be all right.
You're a proud South Yorkshire girl. What is it about Sheffield that's so special?
I find people from Sheffield to just have a sort of grace and confidence, whilst also being really sort of friendly and lovely. I just feel better. The second I'm back here, I feel better.
You told the whole world how much you love Sheffield at Glastonbury last year. Let's talk about the Meadowhall bra. Loved that.
I'd love to.
What was that about?
So it'd been in my head for about 5 years, that idea. And then I didn't have a better idea for Glastonbury. I was just like, we're just gonna have to do it. And it's took on a life of its own. But Meadowhall to me was like glamorous and a portal to like adulthood or something is how it felt. So it, like in an art sense, that's what it means to me. But if not, it is also quite funny.
I do this all the time, so look up.
If I set the precedent and I speak as much as I can and I change the mindset of enough people, hopefully the knock-on effect will be. So when there's like another little girl like I was, wanted to be a pop star, she might not come against so many brick walls and, you know, gatekeepers. And
how does it feel to perform in front of a South Yorkshire crowd? Because you're back here in September, aren't you?
Yeah.
What is that like?
It's just brilliant. It's so full of love, and there's something about, because I was a child here, and I'd go to gigs, and when it's now me and I'm the thing everyone's at, it is quite chuffing. But yeah.
I'm sure it is. Finally tonight, Elsie Alcock from North Yorkshire is 105 years old. An incredible achievement in itself, isn't it? But she's lived in the same two-bed terrace house for her entire life. She grew up in it when she had no electricity. She then bought it for £250. Imagine that. Her fascinating story has been seen and shared by millions on social media. Alex Thorpe has been to meet her.
Hello, my name's Elsie. Welcome to my home. I lived here for 105 years, from the day I was born. We used to have a black-lighted fireplace there with a chimney in a bonnet, you know. I don't know whether you understand me.
This humble two-bed terraced house in Huthwaite has been Elsie Alcock's home for more than a century. After her parents passed away, Elsie and her late husband Bill decided to buy the property.
The landlord says, £250, that's all. I says, oh, is that? Oh, but £250 then was a lot of money. We didn't have no electricity, no wireless. No. We had one gas light in the front room. You put 1 penny in. I mean, if you ain't got a penny, you ain't got no light.
Elsie lives with her son, Raymond, and the pair have no intentions of moving.
She's marvellous. She puts me to shame, I tell you. She does. She's more active than I am.
I love to knit. I like to do jigsaw, and I like to do wage searching. I like that.
Elsie's remarkable story has gone viral on social media, something which baffles her.
I don't know why they are, because I'm not I'm not important. I haven't done anything important. Oh, I've never left and they'll have to take me from here. Yeah. No, I'll never leave. Bye. I mean, I've lived here 105 years. Nobody can say that, is there? No. 105 years. Yeah.
Oh, Elsie, you're lovely, isn't she? Fantastic. You know, my mum and dad lived in the same house for 45 years and they had exactly the same kitchen and pink bathroom that whole time.
Not an avocado bathroom.
No, it was baby pink. It was the rage in the 80s.
Was it? Not anymore, though.
Actually, no, it's come back as pink.
That's it?
Yeah. They should have kept hold of it.
Right, let's have a look at these pictures and cut the bathroom talk out. That's Katie and Bay. Look at that. Absolutely fantastic rainbow. There have been some very, very heavy showers around. This was taken in the up the Vale of York there, a very heavy shower today. You can see lots of surface spray and lots of unsettled weather to come. Probably for the rest of July, unfortunately, after that fantastic June. July is turning out to be very disappointing. If you've got any pictures, your addresses are on your screen right now. So the headline for tomorrow is a fairly familiar one. It is going to be cloudy, and after a mostly dry start, we are going to see some outbreaks of rain spreading up from the southwest. Just the odd spot of rain and drizzle at first, but I think through the afternoon it will turn out to be quite wet. Courtesy of this feature here that we'll try and get out of the way. Wednesday's cloudy and damp at first with sunshine and showers later, and then not too bad Thursday and Friday. Yes, some showers around, but there should be a good deal of fine weather with some sunshine before the next system comes in from the west just in time for the weekend. Now that we've had showers, thunderstorms around, but actually it's the best part of the day now. It's fine. There is some sunshine around, should I say. So the odd shower, but most of us are fine. And then overnight, it looks set to be generally dry with just a build of cloud later, perhaps the odd shower, but it's mostly fine. Temperatures coming in at around 9 Celsius, that's 48 Fahrenheit. So tomorrow's high water times, Scarborough 5:20, Filey at 5:34. So some brightness, especially in the east first thing, mostly dry, but cloud thickens, patchy rain into the west and the north through the morning, and then that spreads across all areas through the afternoon. So it's going to turn out to be pretty wet and miserable through the afternoon. And remember, the average temperatures are 21, 22 degrees tomorrow, really disappointing. 16 or 17 degrees Celsius. Further outlook, Wednesday, a slow improvement. Thursday and Friday, a few showers, but a lot of fine weather to come by then. That's the forecast.
I tell a lie, upstairs was pink, downstairs toilet was avocado.
Oh, it sounds naff.
It was fabulous. That's it from us. Good night.